Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. Today we're going to talk about some data regarding the most popular quest played in DDO, so the most frequently played quest. And this is data that is pulled from the game, presented by and pulled by PlayerAudit.com, so the same site I've used for population videos and such. They have some statistics regarding the most played quests, so thought this would make an interesting video. Okay, so first thing you need to know is how the data is being presented and how it's being pulled and accumulated. So this data is counted in terms of instances, and the way this works, so the way this PlayerAudit.com, the site, is pulling the data and presenting it is anytime a player steps into a quest, that creates an instance of that quest. And that's counted on a per player basis. So for example, if 6 players go into a quest, that makes 6 instances of that particular quest. So that means 6 instances are counted to that total for purposes of these stats and in terms of ranking. So there are some limitations to that. For example, this only counts when you step into a quest. So it doesn't take into account how long you spend in a quest if you complete the quest. So there are some limitations on the data to be aware of. But in any case, basically the site takes the quest with the highest number of instances and presents them from 1st to 20th, and it presents them by server. So we're going to just go through and talk about them. So the first list here is Argo, so we'll go through the other servers as well. But just starting down on the top, you see a lot of Korthos quests. So Hayton's Rest, The Collaborator, Storehouse Secret, Scanless Crystal, Stopping the Swagan, Redemption. So the first 6 quests are all Korthos quests, and that's to be expected. Korthos quests are obviously going to be very, very popular because they're the first quests in the game. So every single new player that steps into the game, or almost every single new or reincarnated character, is going to be running the Korthos quest first. You don't necessarily have to, like you can jump into Keep in the Borderlands or just go straight to the harbor, but for the most part, everyone that TRs or new players, which is the big demographic here, they're going to be playing these new quests. So that's really going to inflate them when it comes to the most popular. It just makes sense. A lot of people are playing them because they're the first quests. Okay, so that makes sense. So going down, there's just some interesting ones to point out and talk about. So 7, the Kobolds, a new ringleader. That's a popular quest. I mean, because if you're not aware, it's a level 2 heroic quest. It's very popular because it's an excellent XP run for that level. I mean, for that level, this quest is just amazing for XP. A lot of players who are really into TRing will run it multiple times. They'll run it on elite and hard and normal, maybe even casual, just to farm it for XP. So that's to be expected for it to be on the list here. Although, as we'll see in a minute, the list varies a lot by server. So it varies wildly by server, in fact, I would say. There are some consistent ones, but there is a lot of variation. So, okay, next is an asterisk. So this is, number 8 is an invitation to dinner, which is a quest from Ravenloft. So this is not really, doesn't really count because at first I was surprised to see this on here so consistently, but the reason it's on here and the reason why you got to put a big asterisk on this is because of the way these stats are tracked. So if you're not aware of how an invitation to dinner works, the way that quest works is right when you step in, you're given a few different cards, and these cards basically tell you where to go in the quest, and they lay out the path for the quest. And some combinations of cards are better than others. So what players will do, some sets of cards are more efficient than others. So what a lot of players will do, or really most players from my experience, will just go into the quest. If you don't get the cards you like, you just exit, you reset the quest and enter again until you get a set of cards that you like. So that's why I think invitation to dinner is so high. You have players constantly resetting the instance and going in again. So that's going to obviously inflate the totals here on the right, which are the number of instances which are totaled in the way that I talked about at the beginning of the video. So a little asterisk there for invitation of dinner. Although some of the other Ravenloft quests did show to be popular, but not as popular as invitation for dinner, which isn't really, as popular as it looks like on this list. It's more of a limitation of the data. Because it doesn't, that's one of the problems with not counting something like time spending quest is things like this happening. Next, we get into a couple of other low-level quests. So stop Hazardal Shipment, protect Baudry's interests, so Baudry's Cardamon's chain. Pretty popular. I mean, those are some of the first quests you run, so not that surprising. Lords of Dust, which is on here quite a lot. I'm not totally sure why Lords of Dust is on here, and really some other quests, as we'll see in a bit, are from the Lords of Dust chain are on here as well. But my best guess is that there's two factors here. Lords of Dust is a very accessible quest, so it's right there in the harbor. So if you want to run something, an epic or late heroic, it's right there. It's easy to access. It's a easy quest to run, so it's a pretty good run for that reason. I mean, the XP is not bad. I also think it's probably up here because the Lords of Dust chain is actually the last chain quest that's free to play. So a lot of players, I think, will be farming this chain. Well, not a lot of players, but a segment of players who don't, who are like free-to-play players, or they are maybe only have a pack or two, will probably be grinding these quests a lot to get up to level 20. And I would actually remember doing that a long time back in the day when I didn't own a lot of content. I would grind the Lords of Dust chain a lot for that reason. So since it's kind of the last hurrah of the free content, because after Lords of Dust, there are a couple things like Mask of Deception, for example, that quest. There's a couple of single quests after that are higher level than Lords of Dust, but for the most part, it's kind of the last hurrah of the free content. So that's probably why it's popular. So moving down, we have Misery's Peak, more Korthos content. Jungle of Kyber, so that's Von 3, obviously going to be really popular with players. It's always been really popular because it's an excellent XP run. People used to grind the crap out of it for XP, and they still do. It's still, this quest, Spies in the House, maybe, really those two quests are some of the core of quests that people run in terms of people that are really into running dailies for XP. So not surprising to see it there. It's just a really good XP run. Even after years ago, they've nerfed the XP, and it's still a really, really good XP run that people run all the time. So not surprising. There are other Vault of Night quests here. Vault of Night is just a really XP efficient quest, particularly Von 3, and then Von 5 and 6 just give not 6 but 5 just gives amazing XP. Sacrifices, more Korthos quests, so more from the Dirk's chain on 15. So a lot of more low level quests. So Garrison's Missing Pack, Walk the Butcher's Path. These are really easy, accessible, quick harbor quests that you'll run right after you're done with Korthos. Necromancer's Doom, so another Korthos quest, probably a little bit lower because Necromancer's Doom's a little bit more out of the way in the wilderness area, instead of some of the others that are just right there on the main kind of town area of Korthos. But nonetheless, it makes sense that it's on here. Okay, Legend of Two-Toed Tobias. I'm not surprised to see that on there. It's run a lot by players because, one, it's an excellent XP run, but that's not really the main reason. The main reason is that quest drops the Cursed Blade of Jack Jibbers, which is one of the best, as you all probably know, is one of the best items in the game. You can self-raise with that, self-raise yourself from the dead as a wraith. You can even self-raise yourself in raids. So it's not surprising to see that a lot of people on Argo would be running this continuously. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. This is weekly data, so keep that in mind. This is for the last week, so this could change and I'm sure will change over time. So just keep that in mind. So Housekeeping at 20, I'm a little surprised to see this because I've seen this on some of the other lists for some of the other servers. Not totally sure why it's so popular. There must be a piece of loot in there I'm not familiar with, but that Housekeeping is the capstone of the Gatekeepers pack. So the Lost Gatekeepers pack. That's the one in the HUD. So not totally sure. Maybe because it's right there with near the initial entrance to Feywild. I'm not totally sure. If you all have any ideas as to why Housekeeping might be really popular, let me know. Okay, let's move on to a different server. So that's Argo. Let's move on to Caneth. Okay, so Caneth, and I'm not going to, obviously not re-describe quests we've already talked about. So we've got Invitation to Dinner. Lords of Dust being very popular on Caneth, number 2 in the past week. So that's surprising. All these others we've talked about, Hayton's Rest, must have a lot of people running, maybe there's a lot of people on Caneth running dailies with Lords of Dust and Jungle of Kyber. I don't know. Okay, so other new new quests we see that weren't on Argo's list. So Into the Mists. Not too surprised that the Ravenloft content's up there. I think, Ravenloft, Sharn, and Feywild, of course, are going to be kind of the primary content run at cap right now. So Into the Mists. And the Ravenloft gear as well is amazing on Heroic, so it's probably very popular on Heroic as well still. So Into the Mist is the first of the Ravenloft quests. It's also probably the easiest, I would say, at endgame. When it comes to endgame content, it's probably the easiest on Reaper at endgame of any quest. It's probably the easiest Reaper quest, I would say, in endgame. So that could add to it as well. It's also fairly accessible there. And again, it's the first of the chain, so a lot of people are going to start the Barovia Ravenloft chain with this, so it makes sense. Blown Deadline up here, so we see a lot of more Sharn content, which we didn't see much Sharn content on Argo. I guess there's more in-game players, on this Canada server. But in any case, Blown Deadline probably pretty popular. I would imagine this is probably one of the more popular Sharn quests, just because it drops the Legendary Collective Sight, which is an amazing pair of goggles. Which basically, if you're not aware, it's very flexible. So I think a lot of different builds want that. You can add a base stat and an insightful stat. You can craft both of those onto that set of goggles that drops in Blown Deadline. So it's amazing. I mean, if you want wisdom and like a base wisdom plus 21 and insightful wisdom plus 10, you can craft those. So you can craft any base stat plus 21 and any insightful stat plus 10 you want on that. So I think it's probably popular for that reason. I was recently farming that because I was redoing my gear set and I needed it. Okay, next, Housekeeping. So that's on there again. We've talked about this. A Sharn Welcome, more Sharn quests. I'm not surprised to see the first. A Sharn Welcome is the first in the Sharn chain if you don't count Lost at Sea, which I don't. It's kind of I don't really consider that the first. More of a pre-Sharn quest. But in any case, not surprised to see the first of the chain be a little popular here. Obviously, if you're going to run Sharn, you're going to start with the first quest, and you might not make it to the last quest. Okay, Death House. Second, I think that's second in the Ravenloft chain. It's also really accessible there, so I'm not surprised to see that. Let's see, we've got another Feywild quest here. We got a Feywild quest with Frosty Reception. That's probably popular because a Frosty Reception drops a really good pair of boots that has, I believe, I think it has Insightful Con and Quality. I think Insightful Con plus 10 and Quality Con plus 5, I believe. I might be wrong. I might be mixing that up, but it has like 2 stacking Constitution modifiers on that. So there's a really good set of boots I know that a lot of people want. So that might be why a Frosty Reception is up here. So we've got some more Sharn quests, the same old song, House of Pain again, Best Laid Plans, Red Rain. So it looks like there's a lot of people running Sharn on the server. Fresh Baked Dreams. I'm not totally sure why that one in particular is on here. So that's a quest from Ravenloft. White Plume Mountain, not surprised to see that's up there. A lot of people still running White Plume Mountain. White Plume Mountain has the Spark of Memory, which increases your filigree total by 1. That drops in there. It has the Black Razor Sword, which is one of I think it's like the best sword right now at endgame still, or one of the best swords or melee weapons in endgame just generally. Let's see. And then we've got, what else? We've got White Plume Mountain also drops Sentient XP, so a lot of people just run it for that. So there's a lot of good reasons to run White Plume Mountain today. Kenneth Crystal, another Sharn quest, not too surprising. All of them, I'm kind of surprised it's that low. But in any case, this kind of shows you the differences between servers. So this server apparently has more people running in-game on Kenneth than Argo, which appears to have more new players. I'm not sure if Argo might be the default right now. I'm not totally sure. I'm not keep updated on that. It was Stellantis, but I noticed since moved, so perhaps that's the difference. Someone correct me there if I'm wrong. Okay, let's move on to Galanda. Let's see if we see any major differences. So not really. Make sure yeah, okay, I'm on the right one. Okay, so Galanda, let's see. Invitation to Dinner, also number 1. Yeah, I'm thinking Argo was probably the default, which is why we saw a big difference there. So this seems to be similar. So Galanda seems to be kind of similar to Kenneth. We see a lot of Sharn quests. We see Von 3. Make Believe, I'm surprised it wasn't a little bit higher on others, but Make Believe Make Believe is a very popular quest right now. It's a Feywild quest. What people are doing in Make Believe is there's a very easy chest that you can get to quickly. And one of the things that and I didn't actually talk about this in my Feywild review because it was kind of a surprise and I wasn't aware of it at the time. But one of the things that the developers kind of snuck into the Feywild expansion that they didn't tell us about was this concept of Fey Twisted. So for those of you who don't know, any chest in Feywild has a very small percentage chance to be a Fey Twisted chest. So if it turns out to be a Fey Twisted chest, it glows and it drops. It gives you a guaranteed drop out of a specific loot table that only drops Fey Twisted items in that Fey Twisted chest. So what a lot of people are doing is they're trying to figure out the most efficient way to farm Fey Twisted chests. So basically that means what is the easiest chest you can access as quickly as possible in the Feywild expansion. And what they've been doing is farming this Make Believe chest. So there's a chest at the beginning of Make Believe, kind of it's like near a waterfall, I believe. And a lot of people are farming Make Believe, so that's probably why it's up here in the terms of popularity. With 3,175 instances in the past week. So a lot of people are just probably checking for that chest, recalling, resetting, and going back into the Make Believe to try to find that chest. So let's see. I don't see too many other differences. A lot of Sharn stuff on 3. Housekeeping again is on here. Someone let me know about Housekeeping. I'm not totally sure why that one is as popular as it is. There must be a piece of loot or something I'm missing. Let's see, Into the Mist. Let's see, Haywire Foundry. I don't think we've seen that yet. So that's Vaughn 4. The Vaughn's always popular. They have both heroic and epic versions, and they're just really good XP runs. That's probably why that's on there. Let's see, Vision of Destruction. So we see our first raid. So it looks like Vision of Destruction is, quite popular right now, which I'm not surprised. It's still a fairly new. It's a new raid. It just came and updated an update or two ago, and it has some amazing loot. I'm running it a lot myself because I want to get some loot in there. But yeah, I'm not surprised. It's also a very accessible raid. You access it right in the marketplace, and you don't have to run to it anymore like you did back in the day. So you just spawn to it straight from the marketplace, the center of the marketplace there. Let's see, more Sharn stuff. Servant of the Overlord. So we see that's the quest right after Lords of Dust. So I'm not too sorry. I don't know why that keeps popping up, but in any case, yeah, Servants of the Lord is right after Lords of Dust. So I'm not too surprised. Probably just people running that, like I explained for Lords of Dust. Probably just XP runs mainly. Okay, let's move to Kyber. So Kyber, and again, I'll reemphasize this is for the past week. Looks very similar. So Invitation to Dinner, Lords of Dust. Yeah, Argo must have been Argonesson must be the default server right now. Okay, Invitation to Dinner, Lords of Dust, Sharn Welcome. So a lot of the stuff we've seen before. I'm still surprised Lords of Dust is that high. Wow, that's very high. Red Rain, Below Deadline. So a lot of Sharn stuff. Make Believe is up here again. People are farming that Fey Twisted chest. So more Sharn stuff. Yeah, Sharn, Ravenloft stuff that we've talked about before. Is there any differences? Grim and Barrett. I'm a little surprised that's here, but this is the first time it's shown up on one of these top 20 lists. There is a popular quiver that drops in that quest. I don't know totally why other people would be running it otherwise, but in any case, it's number 18 for this server. We have Vision Destruction and White Moon Mountain on here again. Okay, so that is Kyber. Let's check out Orion. So Orion, any major differences? Not really that I'm seeing. Yeah, it looks pretty similar. Lords of Dust, yeah. Legend Two Toads Bias, Kobolds new ringleader. Yep, I don't see anything new. So yeah, it looks very similar. So yeah, Argonesson has to be the default server right now. It's got to be from these, just based on these stats. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's see. So this is Sarlona, and let's see, any differences? I don't think so. It looks pretty similar to the other servers we looked at before. Reach for the Sky. Frosty Reception is up here. The Prisoner. I think this is the only one we haven't seen yet. Is the Prisoner. That's Vaughn 2. So not too much of a surprise. Vaughns are popular. Good XP runs. Okay, let's go. We'll check two more, Thalanus and then WaveFounder. So this is Thelanis, my server. And it looks pretty similar. Korthos stuff. We see Invitation to Dinner, which is a big asterisk, as I explained before. Lords of Dust, really high up here again. That's probably the biggest surprise here, is just how popular the Lords of Dust is. Make Believe, yeah, I'm not surprised to see Make Believe a little bit more popular on my server. A lot of people are farming Make Believe for Fate Twisted Chest. Okay, not too much different from what I'm seeing. Let's see, Sharn stuff, Housekeeping, yeah, I don't see anything different. Storehouse's Secret, yeah, this looks pretty similar. Now we'll look at WaveFounder last. Okay, this is WaveFounder. Let's see if WaveFounder is any different. So it looks like WaveFounder's got a lot more new players on it. A lot of Korthos quests here at the top. Wake Me Up Inside. That's a bit of a, that's very surprising. This must just be a fluke where a specific group of people are continually farming it for gear they want. There must just be, that just, I can't understand any other difference as to why Wake Me Up Inside would be so popular on WaveFounder, but not, it's at number 2 on WaveFounder, but not showing up anywhere else. It must just be differences in player population. Apparently, players on WaveFounder want the loot that drops out of there. Let's see, not too much else. Let's see, yeah, a lot of low level stuff. So a lot of new players on WaveFounder. Not too surprising. Probably WaveFounder. I haven't played on WaveFounder before, but as you all know, WaveFounder is by far the least populated server. So I wouldn't expect WaveFounder to have a lot of players have really a great in-game scene. There's probably people who want to play on WaveFounder probably generally want to play like on their own or be in static groups and stuff. I don't think you really join WaveFounder to have a great kind of in-game scene. You kind of go to WaveFounder to stay away from other people. So let's see. Kobold Assault has not shown up yet, and that's on here, number 16 on WaveFounder. Not too surprising, although that's not. I find a lot of people don't like that quest. So it's a low level, one of these kind of guard the area, wait for a bunch of enemies to spawn type of quest. Very, very similar to something like Devil's Assault, which it shares part of its name with. Let's see, Walk to Butcher's Path. I'm not sure if that's shown up before. Maybe. Invitation to Dinner, Whisper's Doom Spawn is on here. I'm a little surprised. So guys, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think about these stats and about what PlayerAudit.com are claiming is the most popular, most played quest. Would be interested to read your comments about it. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you'd like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon below and also a PayPal if you want to give me a tip or something. That's going to be it for this video. See you all next time. Have a good one and take care.